Welcome to The Girl Herd,
where we talk Texas football.
and a bunch of takes you've probably already heard.
But not from us.
We're back. Another episode of The Girl Herd with Devin, Michelle, and me, Angie. So, ladies, it's almost Christmas. We just got our new announcement of the 2026 schedule that I know we've been chatting about a ton. What are your top takeaways? Where do you want to go the most?
I think we had shared before, but I think and we've been saying it honestly for a long time with LSU. I know all three of us have connections both to the state and the university, whether it's friends, family, career pathing, whatever. So I'm really excited for that. And then lots of new friends that we even met just this year through doing the Girl Herd. So that one. And then, of course, going out to the Tennessee game, sort of similar story. And I personally been out that way before. So I'm really excited to get out to Gatlinburg. And I saw on Twitter a lot of horns are kind of doing the same thing. So I was checking out Airbnbs and yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. We were talking about when we thought it was going to come out, and of course, last pod we knew that it was coming out within the week, and so we're excited now to actually have the dates and know when things are. I'm a big planner, so looking forward to it. Our home games are exciting, which I also love because I feel like in the past few years it's been like hit or miss.
Well, I feel like you have mixed feelings on that one. So so tell us more, like what's exciting for you? Because I saw someone say that our home games weren't good. And then so it had me like looking at the schedule in a different light. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it.
I feel like they're better than they were this year.
Yeah. Like now that, of course I have a connection with Ole Miss and if family wanted to come. So that's exciting that I want to go to Ole Miss. I want to go to Oxford. We've talked about that on the pod before, but having them come to Austin is fun. And of course, having Ohio State is great as well. Of course that's non-conference, but I just think, there's some bigger ones that are happening this year, bringing Florida back, blah, blah, blah. So of course we're playing A&M away, which will be exciting as always. And then as you said, LSU and Tennessee.
Wow. Yeah, I agree. I think our home schedule is good. Like we were gone on the road for so long last year. So this is nice to have actually some games in October that we get to go to DKR because we did it last year, right?
Oh, we were on the road basically all of, yeah.
Yeah, but looking at October and November, I'm like, ooh.
Well, that's what everyone's saying. It's like a flip. So though we're going to start at home, we're ending not at home. And someone else was like, can we just have a good, healthy mix of back and forth? And I'm like, I don't know. And maybe think about it more. I'm like, if I were on the team, I think I like having the stretch be what it is because I get into that mode. I feel like it's almost more tiring to seesaw play home away and you're having to get in a different mode and a different prep. But yeah, I don't know what you guys think about that. I thought that was interesting.
That makes me think of traveling overseas and your body has to get back on a clock. So I do get that. And granted, they are coming back and forth because of school and things like that. But yeah, I don't know. I would be interested to see what their thoughts are and what they prefer. I know obviously, right, they love to play at home and in DKR, but would they rather flip-flop it or 2 or 3 games stretch and then come back and vice versa? But I don't know. I don't think I have too many.
One thing I think will be good about the November stretch being away, first we end at A&M. We're always going to be very motivated for that game. That game is almost, it's in its whole different category. So you can kind of break it out from November, right? Yeah. But this year we saw our team get better and better and better. And I think we discussed the playoff and not making it last week. And I think that's probably one of the bigger reasons why we were upset about not seeing our team go to the postseason, because we felt like the way they played down the stretch, they made a really good campaign for it. And we want to see them play playoff football because, as Arch pointed out, he thought that they could beat anyone in the bracket. And I really do believe that too. And I honestly think a lot of teams that are in the bracket believe it as well. So even though we'll be away, I think we'll play our best football down the stretch and we will have to. Another thing that I thought was funny was we're the only team that has to play 3 games in November away within our conference. No other team is doing that. And so I started to look at things. And by the way, obviously that stretch of 3 or 4 games is really hard for us, tougher teams. And so I was looking around, and basically every SEC team is saying the same about their schedule. And so everybody could find either that same stretch or a different stretch. And it's like, wow, I think we know the strength of our conference, but going to the 9 game, going to the 1 bye, I think everybody is we're all just waiting to see what that's going to mean, because I don't think any of us know.
Yeah, 1 bye sounds wild. Like,
so scary.
And then like what the placement is, it's right before Oklahoma, and you're just like, oh man, it'll be interesting how that'll actually play out. And then going back to back, like LSU, Arkansas, A&M it's gonna be fun.
I know. And I feel like you said, Devin, like this year, how the momentum that we had and the difference of a team that we saw, I feel like we're going to kind of be on that same trajectory with now that we are starting to see how many people are either leaving, declaring, going into the portal. We're going to have to rebuild quite a bit. So we're going to need some time for them to mold and build again together. So perfect timing, hopefully, right? Like we have the same ramp up towards the end where everything gets clicking. But
well, and they've showed that before that it matters. And I think that's why I digress. I won't go back there, but I think that's why, it's frustrating what ended up happening, because I mean, again, they've let that play in as a role of like how you're playing.
Yeah. On age and the youth of the team and just what we're going to be working with, back to what you were saying, Angie.
Yeah.
They said going into next year, 2/3 of our team is underclassmen. Like, it's crazy because we played this year really, really young, and like we're about to do that again. And so I think the one area that I do rest my head on is that, Arch really did take the year to get his sea legs, and we got to see that. And I feel very like rested in that. I do think that the portal in spring is going to be key, especially with gelling with his wide receivers, like truly getting us real weapons that we should have, like with the school and program and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think now that we've got Arch figured out and he's got himself figured out, that gives me a lot of confidence.
Well, yeah, and we just got our new running back coach from Florida. So hopefully that gives us a little jump start. He's a Louisiana guy, knows how to recruit there. Hopefully we can get that RBU back at Texas, and the normal rushing game that we are accustomed to, I feel like, is going to be something that I'm looking forward to as well.
Yeah, I think, getting that hire shows that they knew that was a gap, and I think that anyone would have said it was. So,
real quick.
I think it's a good indication of what's to come. I'm like, okay, all right, out of the gate, let's go. Fixing it.
One thing that I thought was interesting, and I texted it to you all regarding his role as the running backs coach. He's also associate head coach. And so I don't know exactly what that will entail or what that means. It made me raise my brow, because I know that another piece that everyone was talking about and has been talking about for a couple of seasons is like what Sark will do and what his role as head coach will continue to be, because I think that's something that he personally probably is evaluating within himself. I know the play calling and all of that is something he's not willing to part with at this time, but it'll be interesting to see as things progress, whether we go into 2026 season or thereafter, if he finally decides to make a change there individually for himself.
Yeah, when you said it, or when you like paid attention to it and like drew attention to it, I should say, I also was like, yeah, that's fair. Like all the speculation around Sark could add something. I know we were also kind of had to fight with it for him a little bit with some other universities. So I don't know if that was part of it. But yeah, interesting.
Even with like the play calling and things like that, what parts maybe is he starting to be willing to relinquish and, like you said, to mold a little bit into his role of head coach, and like what actually he can maintain and what he can hold on to, and what maybe he's getting some awareness, right? Like the game is changing. There's a lot that is evolving, especially with these rules. If you do want to get in the playoffs, if you do want to, whatever, we have 1 bye, we have all these things that are happening all simultaneously. So shift some of it. Your plate is already freaking full as a head coach. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll be an interesting storyline for us to follow for the playoff, like with the other programs, in terms of who goes down the stretch this year and is that head coach doing the play calling duties? Because I believe Lane is one of the few that does as well, right? We had talked about that before. And so now he's at LSU, and it will be interesting to see if that stays the case, especially when we go down there and the two, Saban products go up against each other, which I know that's going to be a big storyline. What happens there? So I'm curious to see.
Yeah, and his OC's going with him too, right? So you would think that things will stay pretty unanimous to how they were at Ole Miss, but yeah, who knows? He might get down to Louisiana and they're like, psych, thought you were.
At least we saw some differences even in our season for play calling and everything by the end of the year. So I just hope that keeps continuing.
Yeah, I think that was interesting to see. And we needed it to get to where we got to. And I think a lot of that had to do with it wasn't the way that the will that Sark wanted to impose wasn't working. And so he had to open it up. And it was really fun to see it get opened up. But, I really am looking forward to him going back to like his game plan and strategy, because if we can be dual threat and then Arch uses his legs, like that's what we wanted to see in 2025. And it just never really turned on in that way. But you saw it at the end against A&M and it was amazing. We had all of those factors at play.
I am curious to see, like, are we going to go back to that Sark offense that we always hear about and that he's never fully opened up the book and this and that? Or is he going to continue to just have to evolve it because we are going to have another really young team? Like, what is the product that we are going to see on the field and that evolution, right? I feel like we keep talking about that too, like where they start from August to where they're going to end up in December.
I think we'll see some things maybe in the bowl game. I'm curious about that. Of course, it'll all depend what weapons we see emerge, like wide receivers, what we do with running backs now and tight ends, because we're going to, lose some weapons there and some people are going to show up. And I think, you want Sark to read that, like what can these guys do and what are they good at? So I'm curious to see. And that's why I'm like most excited about the bowl game of, we see a lot of these players declaring and then entering the transfer portal. And so I think we'll see some new schemes and new weapons. And I think that's the most exciting part. Of course, we have to win this game, but I want to see that as well.
Yeah, it's just really hard to focus on our bowl game because of our opponent. Like still just in my head, I'm genuinely like, oh, like, okay, so they're for real going to play us. Like they have bigger problems than just like Sharon Moore alone. Like it's a larger, gigantic story at this point involving the entire athletics department and administration. It's just like, I am shocked that they're actually going through with playing the game at this point. I really am.
I also, is it just me or have you guys seen, like, I feel like I haven't seen that many announcements or blurbs of Michigan players entering into the portal?
So I believe that's because if I have the portal rules correct, when the new head coach is named, they will open a 15-day portal at that point. Mm-hmm. So that's why. Now, when that will happen, given the circumstances of what has occurred, I don't know what they will do. And again, that's what I'm saying. Like, they have a lot going on. And I mean, who's going to be their coach? People were like saying Kellen DeBoer. Poor Coach DeBoer is like, guys, I'm going to be at Bama. Like, he's had to answer every single week. They're trying to send that man everywhere. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's something that like they would lose out on what money they got or if they start entering or like whatever. But there is a tie to coaching changes. So it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening from that. But yeah, like, I don't know. Everyone's out there being like, I mean, if we play this game, here's what we'd like to see. But like, who knows? Yeah, they've got a lot going on there that we didn't foresee coming into this situation.
Yeah, I mean, and think about it. It's the end of the year. Like they could just I mean, the next semester is coming in 30 days. Like there's just so much. If I were them, I'd be like, yeah, thank you. But like, and I don't know at this point if there's penalties for them. I don't know any of the business rules around the bowl game either. So
When we're in this weird thing, I think it was Josh Pate. I was listening to him talk about things. He was like, if you're them and you get to a certain point down your list of people that you have options to hire, like, is that really who you want to be investing in as your coach? And then it's this tricky little balance of like, can we get one of our top prospects as a coach? If not, do we just leave an interim in there until we do find that person? And then you're still just in limbo as like a team.
I don't know. I'm very glad we're not in this situation.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure Josh Pate was saying that as many others were because of the specific year that it is.
Yeah,
but that's
find the man.
Yeah, like it's just. But I also think I think people, it's like we don't have to have just the household names. There needs to be new people coming up the ranks, and so I do love that for the coaching stratosphere, if you will. But yeah, I think they're going to have some of those years like we have had with the coaches that came in before Sark. And I think there weren't crazy coaching carousels at that time. So I think Texas would like to have some of those decisions back. But happy that we have Sark right now, Michelle, as you were pointing out.
Yeah.
So pleased.
That's why, like, all these rumors, I was like, you guys, Sark leaves. We got another 3+ rebuilding years. Like, no, stop.
We can't go through another decade of turmoil.
I don't want to do it again. Also, I love Sark.
Yeah.
I love what he's built. So this is the year. I want it. How many times do we say that? 2026, this is the year.
Well, I thought back to like the beginning of 2025 season and how we were like, it's the 20 year of the 05. We've got Arch. And I was like, oh man.
You know
that would have been such a storybook ending.
What someone did point out is like when I did the short on them playing Michigan is the last time we played Michigan in a bowl game. The next year we went to win a natty.
Don't hate it.
Don't hate it.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take all the omens, like superstitious, whatever.
Well, while we're waiting, I'm counting on the other sports to help us out. Volleyball, unfortunately. I know we were literally volleyball was carrying us, and congrats to those ladies on a really awesome season. We're so sad to see them go out last night, but just definitely really, really proud of their entire season. It was so exciting. And yes, all the Herdies who listen, we will get to a volleyball game. It's really hard for us to schedule it with football season, but next year, once the schedule's out, we will see what's up with that and try to go. But women's basketball, undefeated. I mean, I'm so proud of them. That team is really, really good. And I mean, fingers crossed, they have to cross UConn at some point, but I'm really hoping that they can get back to at least the Final Four. And then I'm hoping softball can go for a repeat because they're built for it. So that's what I have my eye on in terms of natties right now for Texas.
Yeah, and I hope our football team maybe gets a little juice from. We had 3 freshmen starting in that last game for volleyball, and they did amazing. Like, handled it. I mean, granted, they did wind up losing. It wasn't their best game, but still, like, coming out as freshmen and doing what they did, and to have 3 of them up in the front line, like up against the net, was remarkable. So come on, our little football babes. Maybe have a little powwow with the volleyball girlies to get some momentum.
And watching them was just amazing. Like, all of it was super exciting all day yesterday. Like, never did I ever think we'd be like rooting for the Aggies, but that series was super fun as well. Watching, them beat down Nebraska. And then of course we were like, okay, do we have enough energy for our game? But it was so fun watching them. And like, if you haven't watched volleyball, you should really give it a try because that's exciting stuff. Of course, sadly,
I've been trying to put people on since 2000 Olympics. Like I've been on this train. Volleyball is one of my, if not my favorite thing to watch and also play. But speaking of the whole Aggie thing, so this woman named Fran on Twitter, we actually met her outside of the Archie game. We were right behind her in line. She was with Megan, or Fancy Boots as she's known on Twitter. She had put out this thing. It was just like, so we're all rooting for the Aggies, right? And I was like, nah, but I want to see the game. Like, I know the game's about to be good. And then like the game came on and it was really good and the Aggies were crushing. And I mean, I also like love some of the individual players for Texas A&M. They are just And you mentioned it, Angie, because unfortunately the Halloween game where they did beat us, you were like, these girls are good and they're amazing athletes. And they are. You have to respect that. And so I was like, I found myself being like, let's go with the Aggies. Until I wrote to Fran, I was like, okay, so I lied to you. Like, I don't want to say I'm ever rooting for the Aggies, but like, I guess that's what I was doing. It was just an amazing thing to be able to take down Nebraska. If you know anything about that team, if you watched any of their matches this year, like y'all, they were scary. I mean, they were not losing. They lost what, five sets or 7 sets all year long. Like they were sweeping everybody.
Well, Mish, you said that, I think, when we were watching yesterday, you're like, I don't know who I'm rooting for. I'm like, I know. It's just really, really great volleyball. And you just have to bow down, like appreciate the level of competition that they are bringing to this sport. And I think we talked about too, like even the camera zooming in on all of the younger girls that were in the audience of all the games and how pumped and invested they were in it is so exciting for the sport. And even our swimmer, like our male swimmers, divers that were at the game front and center was so cool. It took me back to like the Olympics. And I think it was one of the documentaries of men's basketball and them going and supporting the other sports and watching that. It kind of brought me back there, which is really special and what you have on a college campus, right? And how unified they all are to support each other, which is really special. So now it's basketball and can't wait to see them.
I know. I love it. People send me stuff all the time of like us being undefeated and how we're doing. And of course we saw their TikTok and what they got on Buc-ee's, what they got at Buc-ee's. But I love it.
It's actually crazy.
Yeah.
Which is so funny. As soon as you sent that, Devin, and I was like, I know exactly what TikTok they're talking about, but also plays to like the attention span because he corrects himself in the video or somebody does. So they must not have made it that far into the video, but.
Well, it's also weird because actually buses would be a good like stop place for road trips. You're on the bus, you're a bussy. Like it kind of makes sense, but then also it just like doesn't make sense because it's Buc-ee's.
Because it's the Beaver.
We love you, Buc-ee's. We will support in your name correctly at all times.
Yeah, we have a lot of things to look forward to. It's going to be exciting.
It is.